A old school fool here. Now, I know you guys were asking for a video tutorial on the fat PS2s. You know, I'm not willing to discriminate, so I'm all about the old school. This happens to be an old school PS2. So if you have the fat PS2, which is the original model PS2, we'll have the expansion bay cover in the back, and obviously it'll look nothing like a Slim. A lot of people asking us, well, how do you use the swap magic on the? It's cool. It's got a few different names. It's got swap magic, slide tool. Crazy little piece that looks like a piece of a credit card cut out. It's really frustrating to use, but we're going to show you guys. We suggest overall just to get a flip top cover replacement case, just because it looks nice, aesthetically pleasing, and for the most part, it's definitely a lot easier to work. It's just a pop open top lid. You shut it, you're done. You don't have to use this break off the door method, because you actually take off the door, so it's not cosmetically, you know, the nicest thing you can possibly look at. So we're going to show you how to play your import games on your regular size fat PS2, because we all want to play those fat import games. All right, we're going to actually play today. We're going to play Mark of the Wolves, brand new. We're going to unwrap it. Mark of the Wolf, Garou. Mark of the Wolves. Some might call it Fatal Fury 4, but it's kind of like a side story. That's Mark of the Wolves. And this is how you do it. You're going to turn on your original PS2. You're going to hook in your PS2 like you usually do. Okay? You're going to, now, for all intent and purposes, what we've done here is we've actually already taken off the door of the PS2. It's really easy. When you take the actual, you'll turn the PS2 on initially. You just open the door, the tray, and then we suggest, just because we don't want it to, because the parts are actually moving when they're on, is to shut off the PS2 when you take the door off. So it gets a little bit more rigid. You slightly take out the PS2 door by kind of pulling out and away from the tray piece, and it should snap off. So you can always put it back on, but usually some people have were able to take it off and put it back, you know, fine, and it snaps back into place perfectly. But most of the time, it's because it's like a literally very rigid, small little piece. If you look at this little piece right here, we actually happen to crack off that little piece that makes it a nice tight fit. But it'll go back in, and you know, at this point, it doesn't really make a difference, because you want to use your slide 2 anyway, and you're just going to have to always take that door off anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn on the PS2 like we always do. Okay, I'm going to reset this. And like I said before, if you watch Sweet Johnny Cage's tutorial video, you'll notice that there's two types of discs. One that says DVD-ROM and one that says CD-ROM. Once again, the DVD-ROMs are anything that has a silver bottom. Now, people are like, well, how do we know the difference? It's silver bottom, guys. This is what it is. This is the silver bottom. There's a DVD-ROM-based PS2 import game. If it's blue on the bottom, dark blue, like a purple, that means it's CD-ROM based. So it's a natural DVD-ROM based game. So what you're going to do is you're going to use the DVD one. Okay? You're going to use the DVD-ROM. It's going to say DVD-ROM driver. Okay? And you know, open like you do is you put any ordinary PS2 game in. It's going to boot up the menu. Okay? We're going to go like this. Put it in there. Press reset. Okay? If it doesn't read the first time, what you want to do is you want to press reset. Just so that way, you know, it gives refreshes the laser. Because sometimes what happens is, if you guys have a problem, if it doesn't actually boot up the first time, because the lasers are kind of weak on the original PS2s, so you might get a disk read error. It may not load. It actually may go out to this menu right, like you see here, the browser, and then load up. So you just want to make sure that you do a full restart with the game disk in once it loads up. Okay, and then you'll see the PS2 screen come up. And like I said before, original PS2 lasers a little on the weak side. I mean, there's a lot more you could do with the original PS2, but it's a little on the weak side, so you might have to reset it once or twice. Okay. Now, when you get that screen, your Swap Magic is now working. It's fully functional Swap Magic disc. You already loaded in your Swap Magic, and you should be ready to play your import games. Now, this is where the tricky part is. Okay. Now, if you notice, and you guys are going to move in a little closer to show you guys. When you break off the door of the PS2, okay, there's a little white nub you'll see. Now, the white nub on the inside, it's like a tray sliding mechanism. The white nub has to match up with this actual hook inside. It's got to fit right in between that hook piece, okay? Now, once that fits in, you're going to press it in. You'll feel kind of like snap in, and you'll push it to the right. Now, it shouldn't you shouldn't have to push it hard to the right. It should kind of glide with you. Because if it doesn't glide, that means that you actually might wind up jamming and breaking a tray. So if you guys do this, we're just telling you that you may break your tray if you do it incorrectly. So like I said, we always suggest a flip-top replacement case. Just a lot easier, a lot nicer looking, but we're going to let you guys, show you how to do it like this anyway. Okay? Now you're going to see it inside, and if you want to, you can kind of go in real close, and you might be able hard to see it on video, but there's like a little piece, okay? A little piece that you'll see that looks like a little white stub. And you kind of feel around, you can kind of like feel around, it's in the middle area, and your thing should kind of snap into place. It should be almost level. The lip of the slide tool should almost be level, should be flush, the whole thing should be in. Now, if you move it to the right, it should glide and pop out. Just like that. It should glide and pop out. Now, if you move it to the right and it doesn't actually glide, doesn't feel like you're gliding along, that means you're forcing the tray in, you're jamming it. Don't get frustrated. It takes a lot of work to get this to work. Okay? And now, once you push it all the way to the right, you pull the tray out. Like so. It should come out easily, all the way. You push it out and pull it out. Okay? Then you'll take your PS2 input game, Mark of the Wolves. You'll swap this out. Now, very important, because you're tricking the system into thinking it's actually booting up, you got to push it all the way back in, and now you got to relock the mechanism because it's not in there. Now you're only 50% of the way done. So now you're going to do is, now remember, you pushed it all the way to the right and you pulled out. So now that little nub is actually going to be all the way to the right. So once you push it in, make sure your slide tool's all the way in, kind of move it all the way to the right, and then push down. You can almost hear like it snap into place, okay? And then you're going to push and pull back to the left. And what you're doing is you're actually locking the mechanism. You're actually locking the door, okay? And now, once again, if you do not lock it properly, if you don't slide it all the way to the left and you don't lock it properly, it will not work. It will not start up. So you might have to do a few different tries to get it to work. And then once you are physically in there, it should come out really easy, okay? And then load program normal, video normal, press circle to boot, unload program. Oh, sorry, X, whoop, normal boot. Stand corrected there. I'm thinking of the Japanese game as a select. X, and it should load. If you did it correctly, and everything is in there 110%, it should load. It might take a little while, because once again, you see laser, it might be a little old, but if you've done it correctly, and there you have it, it should definitely work. Now, circle, once again, is to select in Japanese, so you want to select circle. This is probably the memory card screen. Is no memory card, continue, yes, and you continue, and there you have it. And that is the PS2 original fat PS2 SWAT Magic slide tool tutorial. Like I said, you want to double check, just make sure you don't force it, otherwise you're going to wind up breaking, jamming your tray, and breaking your PS2. And just for the record, here's a little quick tutorial, one more time. Now, if you move it to the right, it should glide and pop out. And now once you push it all the way to the right, you'll pull the tray out, like so. It should come out easily, all the way. You push it out and pull it out, okay? Push it all the way back in, and now you got to relock the mechanism. Push it all the way back in, and now you got to relock the mechanism.